Do you have a child who always seems to go to victim mode when things don't go well for them? They might blame everybody else around them rather than being able to pick up any responsibility or their part in anything that's happened. If that is the case for you, then as a parent, you're probably feeling at a loss as to how to support them. You might also be working really, really hard to try and make everything okay for them. And that can feel like an impossible task. And then we can end up being quite irritable and grumpy and then feel guilty for feeling that and for not being there for our child. So, if that sounds familiar to you, keep watching because I'm going to show you some ways that we can support our child to get out of victim mode and become much more empowered. I am Dr. Hester Bancroft, I'm a childhood psychologist, and I've worked with literally hundreds of parents supporting them to build their children's resilience and independence. So the first thing I want to share with you is a model called the drama triangle. And this is where we can get pulled into when somebody else is having a drama, we can get pulled into their drama triangle. We can also create our own drama triangle. So if you think of a triangle like this, down at the bottom we have victim mode, up here we have rescuer mode, and over here we have persecutor mode. So just to talk a little bit about those, we will all, every single one of us, sometimes be pulled into those positions or go to those positions, and that is okay for a short period of time when we can catch ourselves, support ourselves and move out of that position. We do, though, in life have people who get very stuck in each of those positions, and we need to be very aware of our child being stuck there. Victim mode, when someone gets stuck in this position, it's when they feel very disempowered, they feel that everything bad just happens to them, they're just very unlucky people, and they will be looking to have a rescuer, and they absolutely need to have a persecutor to be able to stay in victim mode. So say that's not where we want our child to be or our children to be. We want them to be able to take responsibility for their part in anything that's happened, because that is how they become empowered. The rescuers, the ones who get stuck there, we all know them. They're also known as the martyrs in life. They will be the ones who'll say things like, I don't know what it is about me, but everyone comes to me with their problems. They will also be the ones who have a tendency towards being passive aggressive. So they'll do things like put down a cup of tea and say, don't worry about me, I'm fine. So that tendency towards being passive aggressive is quite easy to spot when we see the martyr. That's someone who's stuck very much in that position. The persecutor is also known as the bully. So it's somebody who is quite belittling, disrespectful, tends to be quite persecutory. So that's your drama triangle. We don't want our child stuck in that, and we as parents mustn't get pulled into playing the rescuer mode, and the pull is very, very strong for us. So when we have a child, or if our child is not happy, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we coach them rather than rescue them. So we go into a slightly different position where we are actually questioning the answers rather than answering the questions. So I'm going to introduce you now just very quickly to a brilliant way that you can coach your child. It's the coaching framework, and there are 3 things we need to do when we're coaching. The first thing we do is avoid going to the action. That comes at the end. So that's the tendency we have. Our inner lion, our lioness comes out, and we want to tell our child what they need to do to make it okay. That doesn't build their problem-solving skills. So we go to instead the present. What is happening right now? We ask them until we can really understand what has gone on that's made them feel this way, until we can absolutely step into their shoes and look through their eyes. When we can do that and we really understand what's happened, we still don't go to the action. We leapfrog over and we go to the goal. How do you need this to work out? What would make this okay for you? Again, we ask questions until we absolutely understand what it is that they need for this to be okay. And then and only then do we go to the action. And we want, as much as possible, our own children coming up with their own ideas about what they need to do to support themselves and what action they need to take. We can give them suggestions at this point, but we are much more helpful to our children if we let them work through when they know what has happened and where they need to get to, what action they need to take. I hope you found that helpful. Thank you for watching. If you have found it helpful, you might like to have a look at my website. It's www.effectivesteps.com, and there's lots of information on there about how I support adults, children and adolescents. And I hope to see you again.